Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody has had a great start to their week and is looking forward to a healthy and productive weekend. Welcome to our new member, Ajmira. I saw that you joined in. Make sure to send me an email so I can hook you up with your perks. Hi Imad, Kapilesh, Amrit, Iran. Very nice to see many students in the class already. Today we are looking at IELTS Speaking Part 1, and I will tell you what you need to do in order to have that perfect Band 9 start. While we wait for a few more of your classmates, this lesson is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Check us out there. And for the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have lots and lots of HD videos, practice exams, a fully interactive course. I'll show you what those look like while we wait for a couple of your classmates to join in. This is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. We are an official British Council IELTS Test Registration Center and certified agents. To join our premium course, just click that big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. It doesn't cost very much, and we're here for you until you succeed on your next IELTS exam. For the general IELTS, it's the same idea. It's the green background. Again, push that big red button or click on it to join our premium package. You will not regret it. We help thousands of students every day improve their communication in English for the IELTS test. Of course, we have apps as well that are connected with those websites. You can download Academic IELTS Help and link it to your aehelp.com account, or General IELTS Help and link it to your gieltshelp.com account. If you have questions about the IELTS or our products, just send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com, and we've got a full lineup of classes for you this week. Right now we have speaking part 1 focus, and then tomorrow we'll have reading and we'll have listening classes, and then we'll have some more writing, listening, and speaking in the week. All right, everyone. So this is a speaking class. Make sure to speak. It's great to join the chat. Just make sure to also say what you read or say what you write. Okay? So speak and repeat what I say. Copy my intonation, my pronunciation. Again, I'm at the west coast of Canada, so I speak a North American West Coast style English. An accent. It's quite a clear accent, kind of like the East Coast accent as well. So it's good to copy the words that I say, the sentences that I say. It's great practice. Now, before we really get into it, let me tell you a little bit about the speaking and what you really have to pay attention to at the very beginning. So, your speaking score for IELTS, for your speaking interview, starts well before you get to your exam. A couple of quick tricks for you to make sure that you maximize your score in your speaking. Number 1, start speaking as soon as you get up on that day of your speaking interview. So keep your mind in English, talk to people in English. Create a situation where you are surrounded by English speakers. So if you have friends that speak English, meet up with them in the morning for breakfast, talk with them in English. Then you have to get to your IELTS speaking interview 20 minutes before the interview so you can register. But you should get there even earlier. You should go to your speaking interview about an hour before the start of your exam. The reason you want to do that is so you can get comfortable with the exam center, and you want to find someone who is also waiting for their speaking test so you can practice some speaking with them. So usually at the exam centers, you will see people waiting outside for their speaking interview. Take some speaking questions with you, like the ones that we're going to see today, and approach someone who's there, approach another candidate and say, hey, are you here for the speaking interview? And they'll say, yeah, sure. You'll kind of see who those people are, and then say, well, could you practice a little bit with me just so that we're fluent and confident? This was really, really helpful. Thank you, Ordo, for the compliment regarding my accent. So again, just a couple of quick tips. Number one, speak English all day on the day of your speaking interview. Okay, it's very important. Number two, show up to your speaking interview an hour early and practice speaking questions with other candidates. Now, another really good tip, and you need to do this before your day of the speaking interview, of course, is to have a mental checklist with you. Now, mental checklist, it can actually be a piece of paper that you have with you. Welcome more of our members. Welcome Carolina, our moderator. So bring a checklist with you that reminds you of some very important strategies to use on your speaking exam. Okay? And that's very, very useful. It's a little piece of paper, have it in your pocket. Of course, they'll ask you to empty it out before you go into your speaking exam, but that's perfect because you can pull it out and look at it and go, oh yeah, that piece of paper, that's going to help me with that perfect start, right? So notes that you should have on this paper are especially points that might be your weakness, so points to pay attention to, and especially some key strategies, okay? So, for example, one that you might have on there, just to start you off, is use the icebreaker questions to gain fluency and confidence, okay? What I mean by that is at the start of your speaking interview, so when you get called into your exam room and the interviewer is introducing themselves, they're asking you to introduce yourself, use those few questions to make sure that you speak in full sentences, giving complete ideas and answers. So when they ask you questions like, what's your name? May I see your identification? Remember to speak in full sentences. A lot of students just get freaked out at the beginning. They're really nervous and they speak in just one or two word responses like, yes, sure, here you go. My name is John Smith. Okay, this is your 12 minutes to show your best English. So you want to show your best English. You want to be formal. You want to be fluent. Okay. All right, so use the icebreaker questions to gain fluency and confidence. Always remind yourself to answer questions, give explanations, and include examples. That's very, very important as well, okay? Don't keep talking until the examiner stops you. That's not good, all right? You do not want the examiner interrupting you, and you should not be going off topic. If that's happening, it's definitely not a perfect start, and you're losing marks, okay? So stop after you completely answer a question and do not go off topic. Okay? So that's another note that you would have on that checklist for your speaking. One more that's really important is use the question and use the grammar of the question. So whenever you have that question stated by the examiner, paraphrase the question. So use the question, paraphrase it, meaning use your own words for it, and reflect the grammar of the question. Okay? All right? So that's also very, very important. The questions the examiners are asking you, are often designed in a way where they're looking for a specific kind of grammar, like present perfect, conditional, continuous form, past, past perfect. So you have to catch that and you have to reflect that. That's, again, very important for your grammar range and accuracy and to have that perfect start. Okay? All right. E, your note might be something like, do not worry about the examiner. Concentrate on yourself. And you might even have an idea like, the examiner is my grandmother or father. I will speak loud and clear in full sentences, and I'm confident that they will approve of my communication because they love you. They're your grandpa, grandma. Okay. So this is a short little mental checklist or checklist that you have with you. I recommend having no more than 5 to 7 points. Otherwise, it's too much, and then you just kind of lose those points as you get into your exam. So 5 to 7 of the main kind of ideas that will help you to have that perfect start. Okay? All right. So let's get into it, students. Let's practice these points, and then I will give you feedback on your responses in real time as we go along, and I'll give you more tips as we progress through these questions. So when you walk into your IELTS speaking interview, your examiner will greet you. They will say, "Hi, welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test." The exam is taking place in Frankfurt. The time is 14 o'clock. The candidate number is 75931. Now we shall begin. I'm recording this for marking and clerical purposes. First question, always, may I see your identification? They will need to see the same identification that you used to register and that you used at the 20 minutes to check into your exam. So they will ask to see the exact same one. And again, right away, start with a full sentence, okay? So give me a nice, complete sentence. Try to answer this question in many different ways when you're practicing so you can really sound natural and confident, okay? Every time we do these speaking classes, I'm always trying to give you something a little bit different so that you can broaden your catalog of responses, okay? So give me a nice full sentence for this. I'll do the same and I'll give you feedback. Yes, certainly. Please give me a moment while I get it out and flip to the page with my credentials. Okay, here it is. Please take a look. Okay, so that would be a nice full sentence response to this question. Okay, so Harwinder Singh says, sure, here it is. Again, that's okay in the real world, but in the IELTS, Harwinder, you want to be a little bit more fluent than that, just to build confidence, to show the examiner right away that you're there to mean business and you can speak in nice full sentences. Mohit says, yes, certainly, I have my passport right here. Let me flip to the page with my credentials. Here it is. Please have a look. And that's great. That's nice fluency. Say it quickly, Mohit. And using words like credentials right away is adding to your lexical resource mark, okay? So the examiner is judging and evaluating your speaking from the very beginning, all right? VG says, yes, certainly, here's my passport. Please allow me a moment while I flip to the page with my credentials. Please have a look. Yeah, that's very common because we're turning to the page that has our picture and our number and our name and birth date. Okay, Nikhil says, Certainly, here is my ID that I used to register for this exam 4 weeks ago. Please have a look. Again, very nice. And Nick Hill, you can even throw a present perfect in there. So certainly, here's my ID that I've used to register for this exam 4 weeks ago. Okay? It's okay to do that. 4 weeks is far enough back that you can use a present perfect there and it will sound natural. Okay? Isa says, sure, here's my passport with my personal information. Please take a look. Isa, don't say passport ID. We generally don't put the word ID or the acronym ID or identification after the word passport because it's intuitive. So it's not natural to say passport ID. And don't say thank you. Thank you is showing appreciation, and there's no reason here for you to thank the examiner. So no need for that. It's a bit awkward, okay? Let's see. Umesh says, yes, sure, here's my passport. Give me a moment to turn to the page with my credentials. Yep, here it is. Please take a look at it, not go through it. Umesh, go through it is a little bit of a different idea. When a person goes through some material, it's usually more than just a passport picture and identification. You go through a chapter of a book or you go through a lesson plan. You don't actually go through a passport, okay? Unless you're giving the passport to a customs officer and they're looking for your visa, they're looking for your picture information, they're looking for where you traveled, where you've been over the last few weeks or months, then the customs agent might go through your passport, but not the IELTS examiner. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, it's a tricky one to clearly understand that expression, go through, so careful with that. Okay. All right, great job, everyone. So far, so good. So looking good. Again, build fluency. And of course, be accurate. You really want to be accurate with these first few questions. While you're holding your passport, the examiner will ask, what is your full name? So again, they're just trying to get you to calm down a bit. When you introduce yourself, people usually get a little bit calmer. They're a bit more familiar. So introduce yourself in a nice, calm way. Slow yourself. Don't talk too fast. And of course, don't talk slow. All right? So let's see some introductions. Okay. Sharman says, my first name is Sharman and my family name is Rahman. Please call me by my first name, Sharman. It makes me feel comfortable. Okay. Or more comfortable. Sharman, that's fine. Abhishek says, my first name is Abhishek and my family name is Amgain. Please just call me by my first name, Abhishek. Okay, that works, sure. Let's see. Nick Hill says, my given name is Nick Hill and my family name is Paste. Please just call me Nick Hill. That's good. Yep. It's not too long, but it's fine. It's fluent, okay? The examiner will ask what they should call you, so it's good to be preemptive on that question and just include it in this answer, okay? So let's see a couple more. Shri Hari says, my first name is Shri Hari and my family name is Thaneru. You can call me Hari. Instead of saying you can call me Shri, say please call me Hari. It's just a bit more polite, especially when you're meeting someone for the first time, okay? Okay, Asha Sher says, originally I was given the first name of Mark and my family name is Lewandowski. You can call me just Mark. It's a little bit awkward, Asha Sher, so don't give awkward responses, okay? What do you mean you were originally called that? Okay, it doesn't really make sense unless you changed your name. You should always give the name that you have in your passport, okay? So you might give a name like my first name is Elizabeth and my family name is Samson, as you can also see in my passport. Please just call me by my nickname, Liz. Okay. Liz could be a short form of Elizabeth, but it's also a nickname because it's taken as part of the name, not just the first part of the name. So here we go. Repeat after me. Full sentence, nice and strong, okay? So this is where you want to break your voice. If you're being shy, you want to project your voice. So my first name is Elizabeth and my family name is Samson. As you can also see in my passport, please just call me by my nickname, Liz. It's quick and easy, all right? You can also include that. I know some people have long and challenging names, so you can include something like, it's quick and easy. And easy, and I'm used to it. Okay, so let's do it one more time. My first name is Elizabeth, and my family name is Samson, as you can also see in my passport. Please just call me by my nickname, Liz. It's quick and easy, and I'm used to it. Okay, Liz, now I will ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better, and some questions on a general topic. Do you have any hobbies? Okay, and you should definitely answer yes. Most of us do have some kind of activity that we like doing regularly. So when you hear this question, think answer, explain, example. So what is your hobby? Why do you do that hobby? And when is it a time that you did that hobby? So give me an example of you doing your hobby. Okay. So Arda says, yes, I like to play chess when I want to unwind and remove stress. It's not only my hobby, but I join chess tournaments when it's organized and it has a good reward. Arda, you're giving a lot of information and you're being super truthful. Be really careful about being super truthful on the IELTS exam because you can get into some difficult situations. So Arda, if you like chess is your hobby, but you do it as a profession or competitively as well. For this question, don't talk about that. Just talk about it as your hobby. So I enjoy playing stress. It helps me to unwind, and it's also great mental exercise. I played a 2-hour game with one of my great friends yesterday. It was a lot of fun. Okay, that would be a better answer, and then you wouldn't get yourself into this kind of awkward English and challenging situation. And this is for everyone. Do not say unwind myself. I commonly see this mistake. I'm not sure where it comes from into people's language, but we don't say that in natural English. There is no unwind myself. That's very awkward. It visually means that you're all twisted up and then you unwind yourself like a piece of rope. And that would actually create a smile on a person's face if they heard you say that on the street or in everyday English. Examiner is going to be very professional. They're not going to do that, but they will indicate a lack of natural English there. So you unwind from a difficult day, okay? And don't repeat yourself. So don't say, I let go of stress after saying unwind. It's the same idea, okay? So either unwind or let go of stress, but not both, all right? Okay, Sony says, yes, I have a hobby. I play cricket because it helps me to get physically fit after studying for many hours. And I played a great game of cricket. I scored some points just yesterday. Okay, Sony? So, Sony, an example at the end that will help you to have that perfect start. Okay? All right. Deepika says, yes, I do. I sing, dance, or watch YouTube during my leisure time. Singing is a cut above the rest for me. I sing almost every day and record it on my phone so I can listen to it later on. Yeah, Deepika, good. Cut above the rest for a hobby that I do. I think it's a bit awkward. It's not terrible. So the examiner will be like, okay. But again, that idiom, cut above the rest, is better than the others. It's usually used in different contexts when we're comparing some different objects or some different activities, but not really your hobbies. Okay, actually for activities, cut above the rest. Different kinds of foods that I like, okay, one is a cut above the rest, for example, or fashion maybe. In this context, it's a little bit off for me anyway, okay? Igor Kotov says, sure, I used to play tennis as a hobby, but a few months ago my family moved to a new place. I'd like to add that. I look up wrestling, but I still play tennis. Igor, you're not answering the question, okay? Igor, what is your hobby now? Don't say I used to play tennis, because then the examiner might think that what you heard was, did you have any hobbies, okay? Or what was your hobby in the past? You have to make sure not to change the tense of your answer, okay? If the examiner is asking you about your hobbies now, answer with your hobbies now, even if it's not true, even if it's something you did a long time ago. Like, for example, I used to play basketball all the time, and I haven't really played for years just because my body isn't as forgiving anymore if I'm jumping up and down on concrete all day long. But if I'm in the IELTS exam, I might say something like, yes, I love to play b-ball on a regular basis, at least twice a week, as it helps me to stay physically fit, and I also get to socialize with my friends. In fact, I shot a good game of hoops just last Saturday. Okay, so that would be your natural Band 9 fluent answer, all right? And again, I don't play basketball so much anymore. Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't played it again in years. My basketball's sitting in my closet, but I used to do that, and I have other hobbies right now, but if this comes to mind, well, why not use it, okay? So repeat after me. Do you have any hobbies? Yes, I love to play b-ball on a regular basis, at least twice a week, as it helps me to stay physically fit. And I also get to socialize with my friends. In fact, I shot a good game of hoops just last Saturday. B-ball is a short way to say basketball, and to shoot hoops, because it's a basketball hoop, okay? To shoot hoops is also another idiomatic way to say basketball. So when you find these expressions and you learn them, use them confidently, okay? All right, so next question. What is your favorite sport? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. And even if you mention your sport as your hobby, here, don't just say, well, as I said, it's basketball, and that's it, okay? Don't just do that, because you're there to show fluency, so go above and beyond, okay? You're there to communicate. You're there to be expressive. You're not just there to say an answer, okay? If you're just saying an answer, you're probably getting just a 6 band on your, even with perfect English, okay? You're there to really communicate. You have to remember that. All right, so let's see what you have come up with for this one. And I see a lot of people are saying they play tennis, so I'm curious how you will answer this. Okay, Shoksrux Alamov says, my favorite sports activity is football, as I've been interested in it since my childhood. Additionally, it's extremely great to keep my body fit. Okay, yeah, that last part, Shoksrux, I'm trying to adjust it so it's a bit more natural. It's a great sport to help me keep fit, okay? So don't overcomplicate that statement. MK says, I love basketball more than other sports because when I was in my mid-teens, one of my friends introduced me to this game, and I've been addicted ever since. MK, that last part, I would change that to a present perfect, okay? I've been addicted to it ever since, to show that continuous form to the present and into the future, okay? All right. Etoile Brillante says, my pick for favorite sport would be martial arts. I practice it 2 times a week because I'm passionate to perform complex yet beautiful moves, not tricks, moves. Okay, Etoile, martial arts is okay. I would be a little bit more specific. So is it karate? Is it kung fu? Is it taekwondo, judo? So what kind of martial arts are you specifically interested in? There are lots of different martial arts. Giving those specific answers would allow you to pick up more vocabulary points naturally. If I'm speaking to another person and I'm telling them that my favorite sports are martial arts, I would definitely go into detail and explain to them that it's capoeira or some other type of martial art, okay, ninjutsu. So I would definitely go into more detail there. So careful with that, okay? Saying martial arts is almost like saying team sports, okay? You have to be more specific. All right, let's see. So one more. Hassan Taleb says, I love swimming. You know what makes it special is that it's soothing. Apart from that, it's a full body workout. It can help me to be as fit as a fiddle. Okay, Hassan, not bad. Don't use the word you, because I don't know what swimming does for you. You have to tell me what swimming does for you, okay? So students, don't use the you. Don't start directly speaking about the examiner, like, you know, you do this, you are that. Do not do that, okay? If you're using you in your answers, it's more difficult to get a high band score, okay? It becomes very tricky. You is bad in communication when you're talking about yourself. In fact, that's so important. I'm going to give you a note about that. I do see it, and I know that students who are in the class regularly are probably getting tired of me repeating this, but do not use you in your IELTS speaking interview. Basically, do not talk about your examiner. It often leads to awkward and restricted communication that is not accurate. Okay, because you don't know your examiner. You don't know what they're thinking, what they do, how they live, what experiences they have. So if you say something like, you know, on Facebook, you can chat with your friends. I don't know about Facebook. I'm old school. I don't use it. What do you mean I can chat with my friends, right? I know it, but your examiner might not. Okay, don't assume. Okay, so careful with that. All right, is that clear, everybody, about the not using you in your IELTS speaking interview? Can I get some thumbs up there, or like some little emojis or some yep yeses? It's very, very important. Okay. All right. Randava is giving a ton of thumbs up and laughy faces. I'm not sure if it's about what I just said, but hopefully it is. Okay. Nick Hill says yes, sir. Jess says yes, and now we can see lots of thumbs up coming up. Ocean Man says, yeah, okay, got it. And practice that. So when you're practicing your speaking answers before your IELTS speaking interview, every time you catch yourself saying you, stop, go back, change it, correct it, and go forward. So practice not saying you in your answers when you're not actually talking about the person. Okay? All right. This is what I might say for this one. Well, aside from basketball, I also enjoy some individual sports like running and swimming, as these give me a bit of me time to be alone with my thoughts. Just yesterday, I went for a 5K jog to mentally prepare for this test. Okay, so take a look at this here. Repeat after me. What is your favorite sport? Well, aside from basketball, I also enjoy some individual sports like running and swimming, as these give me a bit of me time to be alone with my thoughts. Just yesterday, I went for a 5K jog to mentally prepare for this test. Okay, so notice that I make a connection to the previous question. The quicker you can start making some connections among your responses, the better it is. Okay, making connections among your responses really helps you to sound more coherent, more fluent, more confident. So make those connections. And it's very, quote unquote, easy to do that because part one questions are on one topic. Part two and part three are together, are on one topic. So you definitely should be able to make some connections between and among the responses that you're giving, okay? That's another very, very important tip for that perfect start and to have that perfect IELTS interview, okay? Ashish, 5K in this case, 5K means 5 kilometer, okay? So 5 kilometer jog. Yeah, good question. So anytime, students, you see a word I can help you out with, let me know. And if I catch it, like Ashish is saying, then I'll respond. Now, Ashish, it's important, though, that you just answer or write your comment once, okay? Don't keep writing it, all right? So don't spam, everybody, just once. All right, so here we go. The examiner, after the first couple questions, will then introduce part one of the speaking, and they'll start with some kind of general topic like, let's talk about mobile apps. That's a hot topic of our time. Most people in the world have a mobile phone, and they have apps downloaded to their phone, like maybe our apps, Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. And then the examiner will ask, how often do you use apps on your phone? So give me a nice full sentence. The how often question is a very common question in part one for the beginning. Okay, so how often do you use apps on your phone? Arda says, I frequently use apps on my phone. When I find some free time, I often pick up my phone and spend some time on it. I surf Instagram and watch some funny videos and edits to put on a smile. Okay, to put a smile on my face. Yeah, that's good, Arda, to put a smile on my face, right. Nguyen Duk says, to be honest, I spend most of my time using English-based apps on my phone since I have a passion for English. I've always been dreaming of becoming an English teacher, so these apps help me with that. Okay, Duk, very good. Just take out that you know part. Don't say you know. I'm the examiner. I meet with 20 candidates each and every day. I don't know what you know, so don't tell me you know. It's useless, okay? Again, like I say, it's awkward communication, okay? Omadillo says, okay, as for mobile apps, there are different types. I usually use Facebook and Telegram. These apps help me for doing my job, and I'm chatting with my friends via these apps. Okay, Omadillo, not bad, but you're not clearly answering how often, okay? All right, let's see some more answers. Kevin Bowie says, I run software on my phone very frequently, 10 times per day, especially ones where I have online accounts. I log into my email app to stay on top of my work remotely. And I also use social networking apps like Facebook to shoot the breeze with my friends. Very nice, Kevin. Very nice use of expressions. 10 times strong per day. Strong is a bit awkward in this context, Kevin. I would take that out. Okay. Mohit says, well, certainly I frequently use mobile applications at least 11 to 12 times a day. I use YouTube to attend my online IELTS class. I use WhatsApp to communicate with friends and family. Very good, Mohit. So notice how Mohit and Kevin are doing something very, very clever. They are giving an adverb of frequency followed by quantifiable measure. Okay, so I frequently, I would say I all the time, I use apps on my phone all the time throughout the day. I would say at least 20 to 30 times to check my email, communicate with my friends, and even for entertainment. I was playing PUBG for an hour last night, which is a first-person shooter game. I don't actually play PUBG, but I'm just giving that as an example, right? So, how often do you use apps on your phone? You might paraphrase phone with mobile or smartphone. I use apps on my phone all the time throughout the day. I would say at least 20 to 30 times to check my email, communicate with my friends, and even for entertainment. I was playing PUBG for an hour last night, which is a first-person shooter game. Okay. I was a little bit surprised some of you said 10 to 12 times or 11 times. Maybe. Check how often you use apps. I think most people on average these days use apps as many as 40 to 50 times a day, so even my estimate is probably low. But just check out how many times you actually open your phone and tap an app. Calling a person, your phone is an app. Texting is an app. YouTube, it's an app. So I would say 20 to 30 is a safer bet, but that doesn't really matter. So the examiner is not going to actually say, hey, that's false. You use it like 30 times. No, they won't say that. But anyway, just for fun, you might want to check how many times you actually open an app. Okay. All right. Yeah, so Sukeja says more than 50 times. Okay. All right. So here's the next question. What app do you use most often? Again, don't start thinking and counting which app you use most often. Just give one, okay? If it's Facebook, just say Facebook. If it's WhatsApp, say WhatsApp. If it's your email or Gmail app, then say that one. So it doesn't have to be the truth, right? Just give a quick, clear answer. All right. So full sentence. Alina says, mostly I use Instagram because there I follow great bloggers, and besides that I chat with my friends. Okay. Nick Hill says, apart from the social media apps, as I mentioned earlier, I most often use news software like Times of India and BBC for at least 30 minutes to read the latest news report, as well as for entertainment. I use YouTube to watch funny videos. Nick Hill, choose one app, okay? When you have a superlative like most often, you want to stick with one, okay? The examiner is looking for that one magical app that you use more than any other, okay? Tranti Thang Dung says, I use my apps on my phone at least all the time throughout the day. I would say at least 20 to 30 times. Tran, that's for the previous question. Okay. Let's see some more here. Kevin says, the app which I open most regularly is YouTube, which is a global video streaming platform. It not only has every imaginable content in English, but also curates traffic users' viewing experience from their digital footprint. In fact, thanks to its suggestions, I was able to find the channel of Mr. Adrian, who actually helped me to score 8.5 in IELTS. Wow, Kevin, not only are you using amazing vocabulary and sentence structure, but even paying homage to these live classes. I'm very impressed, and you're making me turn red a little bit. All right. Etoila says, every time I open my phone, it's usually to check out YouTube, partly because it's the first app that I became familiar with, and also because it helps me to relax. I watch videos about 10 times per session, and 3 sessions like that each day. Okay, Etoil, not bad. I corrected a little bit. Students, these videos are recorded, so when I correct what you write, you can check the time, like Etoil. You can check that it was at 44 minutes. So later you can go back and check the video and see what I replaced and how I replaced it so that you can practice those changes. Okay. All right. Sony says, I often use WhatsApp and YouTube in my free time to just relax and spend 10 minutes to view the news, and my Instagram for studying these apps. Okay, again, students, I'm going to make a note for you here because I see it's a common mistake. So some of you are doing this. And we do this in the real world as well. We make this mistake, but on the IELTS, it costs you. Okay? In the real world, I would just say, okay, Sonny, so I get it. You use WhatsApp, YouTube, and Instagram, but which one do you use most often? So I would ask you another question. I would ask you again, like, which one do you use most often? In the IELTS, they don't do that. In the IELTS, if they feel that you didn't get the answer quite right, they'll just give you a lower band score. Or if they feel like you're really off topic, they might repeat the question and they might even emphasize it. Like they'll say, what app do you use most often? I've heard IELTS examiners do that before. Okay, but that's not a good sign. Okay, you don't want that. So when the question is a superlative, okay, like best, most, favorite, okay, give only one answer. All right, it's very important. Don't start listing because they will be like, okay, you didn't understand the question. You probably thought, what apps do you like to use the most? Okay, but that's not the question here. It's what app. It's a singular. Notice it's not apps here. It's just what app. Okay, all right. So if I had to say, I would guess that I use my Gmail app more than any other because I'm constantly checking it for both work and personal communication. I would say that it makes up about half of all of my app opens. Okay. All right. So what app do you use the most often? If I had to say, I would guess that I use my Gmail app more than any other because I'm constantly checking it for both work and personal communication. I would say that it makes up about half of all of my app opens. Okay. So again, just one. All right. Everybody hopefully is clear on that. All right. Let's skip a question here to make it a bit more challenging. Let's jump to this one. Notice the present perfect here. So have you paid for any apps? If yes, why? So the questions get more and more complicated as you go along. Okay. And you have to really pay attention to the grammar. As you can see here, this is present perfect grammar. So have you paid for any apps? You should immediately respond with present perfect. So you should respond by saying, yes, I have. Or you can also start with, no, I haven't. Could be a bit more tricky, but no, I haven't. Okay. Start with the present perfect. To reflect the grammar of the question. Okay. And then include the present perfect at least one more time. Okay. So I have paid for several apps over the past few years. And then you keep going. Okay. So reflect that present perfect. That's what I want to see. All right. So, have you paid for any apps? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one, and start with yes, I have, or start with no, I haven't, and then include the present perfect one more time, just so you're really showing the examiner that, hey, yeah, I get what you're asking me, and I get that you're using the present perfect, and I will show you that I can use the present perfect. Okay? So Medina says, yes, I have. A couple of weeks ago, I have paid some amount of money for italki in order to boost my spoken English with native speakers, and it was of the utmost importance for this exam. Okay, Medina, good. Remember, start with a yes, I have. Okay, that's nice that you have the second present perfect in there. Start with the first one, okay? All right. Akshata Swami says, yes, I have paid membership for Netflix because it is a paid viewing platform. I enjoy watching series and movies on it as my sole source of entertainment. Okay, Akshay. Start with yes, I have. You can say, yes, I have paid a membership for Netflix, okay? Native speakers will very commonly do that to add emphasis. The yes, I have done this, okay? All right. Let's see. Itoil says, I am more of a free-to-use geek, so I haven't paid for any apps. Some apps are either too expensive or aren't worth it, both the money and the content. Okay, fair enough. All right. Let's see. Dan Go says, no, I haven't because I think buying apps is a waste of money. Instead, I can use software on my laptop where I can use it multiple times. All right, Dango. Let's see. Mohammed Mustafa says, yes, I have paid for several apps, but recently I've paid for the Cambly app for learning English and to chit-chat with friends to socialize, just like the lesson I had with my English teacher yesterday cost me about $5. Okay, Mohammed, very good. Yeah. Vibhavi says, yes, I have paid for apps. I have been using some apps to improve my English grammar, which cost a bit of money. It's really helpful as I learned a lot of new vocabulary, and I often use these while preparing formal reports. Okay, good. So, yeah, that's what you want to do. You want to say, yes, I have. I have paid for both educational apps such as Udemy, and I've also paid for some entertainment apps like Netflix, which is a video streaming application for movies and shows. Okay, I find paid content is usually better than free content. All right. So here we go. Have you paid for any apps? Yes, I have. I have paid for both educational apps such as Udemy, and I've also paid for some entertainment apps like Netflix, which is a video streaming application for movies and shows. I find paid content is usually better than free content. Okay, great. So once you're answering questions in this way, you're definitely on the right track for that perfect start, for that perfect Band 9 start. Keep going, students. So practice some more with these questions. How have apps improved over the past 10 years? If you could make an app for your phone, what would it be and why? So I'll leave those questions for you to practice. You can practice those with other students on our website. So if you go to either gieltshelp.com and you can try the free course, or you can try the premium course by clicking that big red button. And you can do that on academic. And when you're logged into your My Student account, at the top, we don't have this feature on our app yet, but we're adding it to our app as well. Okay, so you log into your My Student account, and I think my internet might have died on this laptop here. Let's see if I can get it. There is a speaking feature there. Let me see if I can hop in there. Anyway, when you log into your My Student account, you will see an option that says student speaking partner, and you can click on that to find other students to practice with, okay? So check that out and practice those questions, all right? I will be back tomorrow with some more classes. We're going to have a reading class for our members, and we're going to have listening class for everyone that will focus on part 1 and part 2. So definitely hang out for that. That's it for me for today. I hope everybody enjoyed the class. Go through the class notes again at the start of the video. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep up the good studies. Practice English as much as you can, because 95% of all the money in the world changes hands using English. That's a fact. Have a lovely day, everyone. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria for now. Bye.